All right, guys. Welcome to the very first episode of what I like to call BSing with Blake here on the Meek Bros Entertainment Network. I am here today with my first guest of the show, Thomas Hunter. Thomas, how are we doing today?
Dude, I'm doing great. We are 24 hours away from the draft. I am so stoked. Like this is the best time of year. I'm so pumped right now. I can't sit still.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we got about 23 and a half hours. We're counting down till first round starts. And uncharacteristically, my Bengals are picking after your Ravens this year. I'm not
like
real sure what to do.
It rarely ever happens. But I mean, first of all, congrats to you guys on an awesome run. Like I know we're rivals, but I think there's a respect there.
Oh, yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
like, good for y'all. Good for you guys. Like
Yeah,
it was fun to see, I'm not going to have that next year when y'all trounce us by 50 plus points again. But this year I'll let it slide. Like, yeah, good for you guys.
Well, I fully expect the Ravens to be back battling for the top. Injuries can't possibly go as bad as they did last year.
Knock on wood, man. Knock on
one
wood.
would think, at least. One would think. But no, it was a special year in Cincinnati. I wish the Reds would do something. They're not. They're terrible. But it was a fun football season. Tell everybody where we can find you at on Twitter and where you're doing your work these days.
Yeah, well, as you can see on my handle right below me at TDHunter52, you can also find me over at ATB Network. I'm the head contributor co-head contributor for ATB_Ravens. So yeah, you can find our work. I just put out like 4 or 5 articles the last few days. So if any Bengals fans want to catch up on knowing your enemy or what have you, just come to me. I'll be happy to fill y'all in. Be happy.
Absolutely. Great place to check out some Ravens work. And he's not a Ravens fan that's going to unneedly bash anybody. He's going to be honest with his Ravens information.
I'm a cynical fan.
I get it. Bengals fans have been that way for years.
I'm from Southern Indiana, so I have a lot of friends who are Bengals fans. I've been to Cincinnati so many times to see Ravens games, and Bengals fans are always cool as hell. Just tailgate with them and just chill.
Yeah.
It's always a good time every time I went. So
absolutely. I mean, every fan base has their outliers that are just terrible to deal with, but that's sports. And speaking of Bengals, Ravens, and stuff. And the NFL draft we talked about, it's looking like a wild NFL draft. Nobody knows what to expect. Where do you see the first 3 or so picks going? Because there's been a lot of smoke, a lot of stories about just those 3 picks in general.
Yeah, I was talking with my co-host Brandon. I was like, this is one of the most unpredictable years I can remember, because there isn't that top star guy at the top of the draft or anything, let alone down the board. So the Ravens pick at 14. I'm just I don't know. They have just a trove of mid-round picks that I think if one of these, star guys like Thibodeau or Jermaine Johnson or even Stingley fall down to that 11-12 range, that they're going to immediately use one of those picks to spring up and just secure them. Why not do it? What's a 4th round pick in the grand scheme of things, but the Ravens need help at every level of their defense. They brought back Calais Campbell. They brought back Josh Bynes at linebacker. They have Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey at cornerback, but virtually everyone was hurt last year. So we need depth, and I mean, we have this new guy in the division named Jamar Chase, who we have to contend with twice a year. So a lot of Ravens fans are looking toward cornerback because Marcus Peters, he's on the last year of his deal.
Yeah.
What happens if he gets hurt again? There's no depth in our secondary right now. So I know corner is a huge target for us. I wouldn't want to reach for anyone at 14 if it's not Sauce or Stingley, but like I said, that's going to be a huge target for us. I'd much prefer a pass rusher, honestly, because we have Odafe Oweh, who I'm repping right now.
Yes.
But he got hurt late last year. Our other outside linebacker, Tyus Bowser, he tore his ACL in the last game of last year. Don't know how he's going to do it. And we don't really have anyone else there, with a couple other guys. Jalen Ferguson, a former 3rd-round pick in 2019. He hasn't done a whole lot. Dalen Hayes, a 5th-round pick last year. It's so unproven. So it's I'd much just prefer to see a pass rusher, because I think this corner class, it's got some good depth to it where you can find guys in the 2nd, 3rd round. So exactly. So I would much prefer, pass rusher. I know a lot of Ravens fans are wanting Jordan Davis, which I totally understand. I get.
Oh yeah,
he's a freak of nature. He's a unicorn. So I wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't love it, but I wouldn't mind it either. So I know the Ravens desperately want to get younger in the trenches. So I can see that, but I could really see the Ravens going heavy on defense the first few picks. I know our offensive line still needs a little bit of help, but I don't really see it happening unless, one of these stud tackles falls to us. But, it is what it is. But defense, I think, is going to be heavy the first few picks for us.
There's a few guys that I don't want to see the Ravens pick up. Sauce and Stingley are at the top of the list. I don't need to see any of those in Baltimore. I don't want to see Jordan Davis. I feel like is he ever going to be a 10-sack-a-year guy? No, but he's going to cause issues with his size and athleticism in the middle of the line. Exactly. I don't want to see any of the big, I'll say 5 edge rushers. Ojabo is not going to be picked 14th because of his injury, but I still throw him in he's as talented in that group. And the NFL doesn't seem as high on Karlaftis as the rest of us are. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
I think that's a case of, it's not so much like they're questioning his talent. I just think he just got lapped by everyone else's talent. He's kind of like a forgotten man.
He is.
I went to IU. Purdue's my big rivalry, and so I've watched Karlaftis a lot, inadvertently. And dude has a lot of talent. He is so powerful. If they go Karlaftis, I think 14 is a little high for him. But again, he's not a guy I'd be mad at. He's got all the tools to succeed. So he's getting lapped by more flashy pass rushers, I think, but he's got the talent. He absolutely should be taken in the first round. If he doesn't, it's a travesty.
Absolutely. Travesty. I could see him. I think if the Ravens aren't in love with somebody at 14 and they decided to trade down a few spots, if that comes up, Karlaftis would be a guy you target, 18, 19, 20 in that range. I think there's a chance Jermaine Johnson drops to 14. I know you're a big fan of that pick.
That's my realistic dream pick right there. I want Jermaine Johnson so bad. I want him so bad.
I think after the top 2 cornerbacks, that next group, McDuffie, Booth, Elam, 14's a little rich for my blood on them. The Ravens are in, if the top edge rushers and Jordan Davis are off the board at 14, they do find themselves in a little bit of a weird spot there where the top talent may not fit their big needs at that point.
Exactly. The Ravens so desperately need a quarterback to go, at least in the top 10, and a receiver or 2 to go before them if they want any hope of any of these star players to drop them. If they don't, that's a nightmare scenario for Baltimore. And you're right. I think it could fizzle out by 14 if none of that happens. And if that does happen, I don't want to reach for someone like Trent McDuffie. I'm just not high on McDuffie as others seem to be. He just doesn't really fit what the Ravens like in their corners. He just doesn't have that exceptional length and everything like that. So, if we trade down and grab him, sure, I'm all for it. But I would not want to take him at 14. So I think Jordan Davis right now is my worst case scenario. Again, I'm not going to be upset if we take him, but there's a lot of things that could go right tomorrow for us. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. Like I said, I don't see the Ravens staying at 14 one way or another. I think they're either going to move up.
I think they're
going to move down. I know that. Yeah, but the Ravens haven't moved up from their traditional draft spot where they started at since 2009. So that's not a thing the Ravens normally do. But again, they're loaded with mid-round picks. They got the ammo. So, maybe this is the year to change things up. Why the hell not?
The Bengals aren't big on moving up in the first round either. They'll move up in the mid rounds if they see a guy that they want, but they don't move up in the first round. I too would like a trade down, maybe something like a 31 and 63 for the 2 Seahawks picks if they want to try to jump Detroit for a quarterback at the end of the first round or something like that. I think 31 has the chance to be a weird spot for the Bengals too, where if that group of cornerbacks all go before 31, and there's a chance they do you like a guy like McCreary at 31? Where do you stand on the 3 techs with Devontae Wyatt being, 24 and having domestic violence charges? After that, you kind of go to Logan Hall, who a little bit of a tweener. A lot of Bengals fans want him at 31. I wouldn't hate it, but again, it's not my first choice.
Mm.
And then do they want to go offensive line after they signed 3? They still clearly believe in Carman. I don't know that they want offensive line at 31, but if a guy like Linderbaum is sitting there, can you pass him up at 31?
Exactly.
So it's interesting. It's the first time in a while for the Bengals where I've really looked at them and had no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's how it is for a lot of teams. Like I just don't know. Like I haven't thought of Logan Hall before. I could definitely see him going in the first round.
Yeah.
That 31 spot would make a lot of sense. I know Peyton Turner went a little higher than most people thought last year, and I think those two are somewhat comparable. So, but yeah, I could definitely see Logan Hall. But you're absolutely right. I think 31's prime spot for trade down for someone wanting to move up for someone like Desmond Ridder or Howe even, like for some reason. But that could be something that the Bengals do. Like, why not just acquire more depth? Y'all went on a Super Bowl run. Just fill out your depth and bring that spot. I did drop a mock draft the other day, and I had the Bengals taking Linderbaum. I was going to message you about this and think, what do you got? But time got away from me. Whatever.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Linderbaum to Cincinnati? I know they've overhauled their offensive line. Would you jump for joy of that, or what? He was the best guy left on board by a wide margin.
Linderbaum's the highest graded center I've ever graded. He's, I think by grade, probably my player 7 or 8 in this class. I know some don't like the short arms. I know some don't like that he's only 290-ish pounds. But if you watch the tape, it never affects him. He never lets people push him around. He never has trouble blocking. And if you get him, this can push Ted Karras out to left guard, where he actually played better last year than center. And that takes what was, probably what kept them from winning a Super Bowl, their offensive line, and making it a real strength on this team all of a sudden.
Yeah, because, the Chiefs did the same thing last year. They signed Austin Blythe. They didn't need a center, but Creed Humphrey's right there late in the second round, who is my highest graded center of all time.
He's my second.
I love Creed Humphrey so much. Oh, my God. I wanted the Ravens to take him so bad in the first. Regardless, they take Creed Humphrey and they get an all-pro year out of him. So it's like, it might not be a need, but when the talent far exceeds your draft position, go for it.
And you're only one injury away from all of a sudden now Trey Hill has to start at center for you.
Exactly. Do you really want that?
No. We saw it last year and you don't.
Exactly. One thing that drives me crazy, I'm seeing it a lot with Ravens fans, where this team absolutely has to draft this position. It's no, they don't have to do anything. I've always been best player available approach. I don't care what position is outside of quarterback or running back. Give me the best. If it's a receiver, I don't care. Just give me talent. That's all I care about. I want talent. If it shores up a weakness, great. I'm all for it. But give me the best player available. That's all I want, man. If Garrett Wilson falls to us, he's my wide receiver 1, and no one's wanting to trade up.
Yeah.
Screw it. Just take Garrett Wilson.
And I was talking I talked to Joe Goodberry a little bit about this and some other people. I said, if somebody like, a Treylon Burks falls to 31 and he's my best player, I'm taking him. Tyler Boyd's contract's up in 2 years.
Exactly.
He's making $10 million this year. You're going to need that money for Higgins and Chase here soon.
Yeah, exactly. And what's wrong with feeding into a strength, And it's just like you said, you're one injury away from things unraveling, and the Ravens saw that last year. They were multiple injuries in, but what's wrong with securing talent and depth? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I've been pounding the table that we need a third tight end early. I'm talking third round. Everyone's oh, we have Mark Andrews. It's okay, if Mark Andrews goes down, he's our most important offensive piece outside of Lamar Jackson. What's wrong with getting some depth behind him to, ensure that, there's not that much of a drop off if you were to get hurt? That the reasoning just blows my mind when people are just we have to go this way in the first round. No, you don't. It'd be nice, but whatever.
What sounds better? T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Mike Thomas, or T. Higgins, Treylon Burks, and Tyler Boyd, if God forbid something happens to Jamar Chase.
Exactly. And too many weapons for Joe Burrow. That does not sound like a terrible thing to me. as a Ravens fan, that terrifies me. As a
Right.
football fan, that excites me so
Mhm.
much. Just, whew, I love that so much. Side note, I thought T. Higgins was one of the best receivers in the draft a couple years ago, and when the Bengals took him at 33, I was like, they just got a freaking stud at receiver. Like that's genius.
I will
And
admit,
people just
I was a big T. Higgins fan, but I wanted Denzel Mims. I had a big draft crush on Denzel Mims.
I think
Luckily,
everyone did.
we took Higgins, and it has worked out, which I wasn't mad about. I liked Higgins. I was a big
Yeah.
fan. A lot of people were knocking him farther down their boards because he wasn't that fast and he wasn't
That was the
this.
thing.
And
Like his 40 sucks. It's like, I don't know. Watch him play, man. This is a time of year where people look too much at measurables and not enough tape, and it just drives me up the wall, man. Like you said, Linderbaum, perfect example. Like, yeah, he's not big, his arms are short, and everyone's like, oh, he can get bowled over. It's like, I've watched so much Linderbaum film. Like, where did he get bowled over? Like, he's playing against top tier talent. It's like, where are you getting this? Just because he doesn't weigh 320 pounds? Like, no, this dude understands technique. He's beautiful as a center. So no, like, go back and watch tape. Stop watching these measurements. Like, go watch this guy again, because clearly you're forgetting. So it's just that time of year that's frustrating to me.
And I feel like somebody who might get, probably not to quite the degree Higgins does, because I think he'll go first round, but I feel like Drake London's getting a little bit of that. Oh, he can't separate, but that's not his game. He doesn't have to have 3 yards of separation.
He doesn't. I mean, he's 6'5", like what, 220, like, and he catches everything. It's like, yeah, I would love to have that in Baltimore.
Absolutely.
Like, I think I have him going to the Jets at 10. Yeah, he's talented, and okay, so he doesn't have top flight speed. Who cares? Like, he wins with his size, and he, like I said, he catches everything. So what's the issue here? I'm not seeing it. I'm not understanding.
No.
I'm so glad the draft is tomorrow, because I'm so sick of people just nitpicking these little things. It's just like, oh my gosh, let's just get back to the drawing board here and just go watch some film. Just relax.
All right. Last thing before we switch it up a little bit, give me your predicted top 5 the night before the draft. Who do you think goes 1 through 5?
All right, so I have Travon Walker going to the Jags at edge.
Same.
I hate it, but I can understand it. Dude's a physical freak of nature, so okay, sure, whatever, that's fine. Then I have Aiden Hutchinson going at 2. That's just Dan Campbell's perfect man right there. So Aiden Hutchinson goes at 2. Number 3, this is where the draft gets really shaky to me. I don't know. I have Evan Neal going 3rd overall, but because that's what makes sense to me. But I'm hearing everything from Sauce Gardner to Thibodeau. I'm just like, I don't know. Right now, my gut instinct tells me Ahmad Gardner. Right now, if I had to, gun to my head, had to choose, it's Gardner. Number 4, I had Thibodeau going here, but again, like, this is within 24 hours. I'm just changing my mind, because all this stuff about Mekhi Becton's coming out, and they want to protect Zach Wilson. Now I'm thinking, well, this would be a good spot for Ekwonu. Like, I feel like he fits more like what the Jets like to do. He's just a powerful run blocker. So I think if I had gun to my head right now, he goes number 4. That leaves number 5, Evan Neal, to the Giants. So that's shaky. That's how I see it right now. Again, like, I dropped a mock yesterday. Now I'm like totally blowing up my own top 5 24 hours later. So I don't know. Like, this is the weirdest draft I think I've ever scouted for. It's insane.
It's gonna be wild to watch tomorrow. And to switch it up a little bit, I have to go to just a terrible tweet that you put out 3 days ago on April 24th, where you said that you would cut Thor Ragnarok before Captain America Winter Soldier and Spider-Man No Way Home. And I'm just not okay with this.
See, I was going to argue with you over Twitter. I was like, you know what? No, I'm going on this show. We will argue face to face with this.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to tell you, I love Thor Ragnarok. It is a top 3 Marvel movie to me. It just happened that my top 2 was in front of it. It's like, man, I love Thor Ragnarok so damn much. It's such a good movie. But I think Winter Soldier is like one of the most perfect Marvel movies ever. Like I love the plot and just everything about it. I love Winter Soldier, and I just had so much fun watching No Way Home. It was such a damn good movie. And maybe it's a recency bias because I can still hear people cheering, when
Yes.
spoiler alert, Daredevil popped on screen. I'm like, I still get those like goosebumps, so. And I just watched it the other day. And I was like, God, I love this. This is such a good movie. But yeah, that list hurt to tweet out, but I had to let the people know. But I want everyone to know I love Thor Ragnarok. It is far and away the best Thor, but
Oh, absolutely.
It hurt, but I stand by it. I absolutely stand by it.
I think that as far as just straight movies, No Way Home is probably the worst movie of the three, but it also elicits the most emotion of the three.
I will actually agree with that. I'll agree with that.
You get those big tie-ins. You get, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. You get Daredevil. Yeah. You get all the old villains. It elicits something from people who are in their 20s and early 30s from movies that they saw.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's like the plot, I think it's a little basic and but it's not about the plot. It's about the moments, and I ate those moments up. And I love Daredevil. Obviously, I popped when he went on screen, and I love the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man movies. So I've loved seeing him back, and of course, Tobey Maguire. I remember going to see that in theaters as a kid. And I was like, man, this is bringing tears to my eyes. I was so freaking happy. And like I said, the plot, it's basic. It's not anything extravagant, anything. But man, did I love every single moment of the movie.
Yes, it I think will get propped up a little bit higher for those moments. I think much like, and not that it's a bad movie by any means, but much like something like Endgame does, where it just has those big emotional moments that makes the entire theater just, erupt.
That's the perfect comparison, because I think Endgame, I don't think it's nearly as good as Infinity War. But I love the moments in it. Obviously, the portal scene. I tweeted out, it's been 3 years. This still gives me goosebumps everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
I have I'll just have that playing when I'm working out and just hearing everything go through. It still pumps me up to this after 3 years. Like I said, the movie itself, it's touching and fun, but I don't think it's a great movie. But it has moments in the MCU. God, it is fantastic. It is phenomenal.
Yes.
I hope that makes sense to people.
It makes sense to me. And I think it'll make sense to anybody watching this.
Yeah, I've tried to explain that to people. Some people don't really understand that. But it's how a plot can be different than moments, So I think Endgame and No Way Home, perfect examples of that compared to Winter Soldier, which I think is nearly flawless plot. I love everything about that movie.
Yes, it's fantastic. I'm probably a little biased to Thor. Thor's always been my favorite superhero, him and Hulk, which makes Thor Ragnarok perfect for me.
See, I have this friend. He is a diehard Thor fan, has always been, as long as I know him, for years. He hates Ragnarok because it diverges so much from Thor from the comics.
And it does. It combines elements of Thor with the World War Hulk comic books. And if you are super, super diehard into wanting things to go by the comics, it's probably not for you. Because it does verge, but just as far as a movie, it's by far the funniest movie of the MCU.
Easily,
it and Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Those are the two that they bring a lot of humor into them. But I don't know that they have put out a bad movie since. Well, Captain Marvel was so.
Yeah, I liked Captain Marvel. I thought it was good.
I
liked it. Yeah, I don't understand the violent hate that it gets. I don't think it's terrible by any means. It's all right, but
no.
To me, Thor Ragnarok, I'm going to keep harping on this. It saved the Thor character for me because I thought the first two Thor movies were just abysmal. I did not read Thor comics or anything like that when growing up. I wasn't really introduced to Thor until the MCU.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know how he is in the comics, and everyone says like that sticks to the comics, but thank God they kind of opened his character up to be a little more charismatic and funny, and
Yes.
he's not just so vanilla and plain. It's just I'm glad they added that humor element. Like I watched Ragnarok, like I said the other day. I'm still laughing at those jokes after like 4 years. So
Yes.
it's so freaking hilarious. I love Taika Waititi. He's so damn funny, just in
He's
everything
great.
he does. So yeah, I love Ragnarok. Like it pained me leaving Ragnarok off that list, but I feel like I had to.
So let's move past those three because they seem to be probably the top three for both of us right now. What would your next three be after those three?
Next three, I would definitely have to say Infinity War. I think Infinity War is just an amazing movie. I love Infinity War. Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, I really thoroughly enjoyed because it was hilarious. It was so fun.
Yes.
And number two. Number three, probably I'd have to say Black Panther. I'm not normally into, or no, I take that back. I'm sorry. That'd be in the next year. I really enjoyed Civil War. I was talking about this in my head the other day. I love Civil War. I think it's an Avengers light movie, but like seeing all these characters combine and it advances the MCU so much. I really enjoy Civil War. I know it's not the highest on most people's list, but for me personally, I thought it was a lot of fun. It's a good movie to me. I like it. So
I don't think any of those can be considered wrong answers. All three were very good movies. I think I prefer Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know if I prefer the second one or the first one.
It's a toss up. Honestly, it is. Like they're both so freaking hilarious. So
the scenes with Yondu in the second one. And everything happens with him I really enjoyed that. I think Infinity War for me has got to be there. And then probably either Black Panther, Civil War, maybe the first Avengers just because of the nostalgia of it. It's the first time you really get to see them all together.
Yeah. I was not a big MCU fan until I saw Avengers. Like I wasn't like super into it. I didn't really care for Iron Man or anything like that when I first saw it. I didn't even see Captain America until after Avengers, but then I saw Avengers. I saw what they were like building and creating and where they were going from that. And it was like, I'm going to give this another shot. And like once I opened my mind to it and realized like what they're trying to do, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. And it just keeps getting better as it goes along. So yeah, Avengers I think is a very good answer. It's not in my top 6, but it's definitely in my top 10.
Yeah. And of the first, Avengers would have been the 6th movie they put out. Iron Man was okay. I know a lot of people really liked it. I'm not a huge Iron Man fan, so neither of the first 2 Iron Man really did much for me. The first Incredible Hulk movie wasn't good.
No, it wasn't.
The first Thor movie was okay. I probably liked it more just because it was Thor. Captain America: First Avenger was good. It was a good movie.
Yeah. I did grow up a Captain America fan. I don't know why I didn't see it before Avengers, but I just had no urge to. But I actually liked Captain America growing up. So I love the Captain America movies.
Yeah.
Like all of them, as I've been saying all night. But yeah, that's origin stories not normally for me, but yeah, what can you do?
Right.
All right, so I got to get your opinion. What is your opinion on Age of Ultron?
I didn't hate it. I like Ultron in the comics. I think they're doing better in the comics than they did the movies.
That's fair.
But I think it was a movie you had to have, even if it's not the most popular movie. It sets up a lot for future stuff, but it was an okay movie. It's not near the top of my list or anything.
That's fair. I love Age of Ultron. Like I know full well it's not a great movie. I can fully admit that, but I just have so much fun watching it.
I
You
get
know, it's
that. Oh yeah,
like it's not a great movie. Ultron, it's a little disappointing, like you said, compared to the comics, but
yeah,
I just have fun every time I watch that movie. It's like I get into this,
yeah.
you know? And like I know it's everyone's like least favorite Avengers movie and everything, which that's fair. But man, I thoroughly, it's in my top 10 favorite MCU movies. I think it's so much fun. So
Which I understand. It's
mhm,
probably my fourth Avengers movie of the four.
that's
In
fair.
the first one, I could flip flop. I put the first one ahead of it strictly for sentimental reasons.
Mhm. Which I
Um, and we love you, Brandon.
get. That's my boy. That's my
Yep.
boy.
Now, I'm looking forward at the MCU. Which of the upcoming movies are you most looking forward to?
I absolutely cannot wait for Multiverse of Madness. Like I've been
Yes.
harping on this movie for like it seems like over a year now. Like, and I can't believe it's next week. Oh my God, Brandon,
Yeah.
you've never seen Age of Ultron, dude? Come on, man. I love that movie. But yeah, I got my tickets for that movie like minutes after it came out. Like my fiance, she tries to get into the MCU. It's not really for her, but she
Right.
enjoys it and she watches it for me, which I appreciate. She's gonna go see it with me next week, but I'm so excited for this movie. Like I said, I got my tickets minutes after they announced it, and like this is such a crazy week because the draft is now.
Yep.
That's gonna take up all my focus. Then next Thursday, it's Multiverse of Madness, a movie I've been waiting for so long.
Yep.
I'm like, I cannot wait for this movie. I'm not just saying that because it's the next one up. I'm saying this because I genuinely cannot wait to see this movie. And I'm trying not to read all the spoilers and everything that people are putting out, but
Yeah.
I mean, I've already seen some. It's impossible not to see it if you're hyped up for this, but I cannot wait for this movie. Cannot wait for this movie. Whew,
It
it's a
it
good
looks
lineup.
fantastic. I'm super excited to see it. I feel like we're going to get a lot of the continuation from Spider-Man in this, and see
Mhm.
what happens. So that's going to be a big kind of how the MCU is going to shape from here is going to take
Yeah.
place in this movie.
Oh yeah.
I'm super excited for Thor this summer. We get to
Mhm.
see Natalie Portman as Thor,
Can't wait.
which is going to be a cool moment.
Mhm.
And then I think Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which isn't until next May, so I've got a while.
Yeah, it got a while.
But those movies are always going to be fun, no matter what.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm also I'm interested to see what happens in Black Panther. You know,
Same.
Chadwick Boseman, unfortunately passed away. He was a phenomenal person, phenomenal
Yes.
actor. So I'm gonna miss that, and I really hope they do him justice in this next one. I'm just excited to see who takes up the mantle of the new Black Panther. I know they're not going to recast his role, which I fully agree with.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious to see which way they go with it. So I'm excited for it. It's going to be a little heartbreaking to see. It's going to be a little hard to watch, but I'm excited for that one too.
Because there's several ways they can go with it. I mean, you could go with all the multiverses if you decided you wanted to bring back, Michael B. Jordan. You could work him into it.
I'm a fan of to do that. So
in the comic books, his sister takes over as Black Panther for a while. So there's several different ways they can go with it. I don't think there are wrong answers, but I don't think that the obvious choices, I don't think there's a wrong answer with how they do it.
Yeah, exactly. They're not going to do anything dumb with it. I wouldn't think so. They're gonna make sense in the scope of Marvel, I guess.
Yes.
But yeah, they're gonna make it make sense, and I know they're keeping it really close to the vest, like what's gonna happen in that movie, which I get. So
they're good at that.
I'm excited. Nervous.
They're good at keeping a lot of the big things really close to the vest and not letting everybody find out.
Yeah, they are.
They
leak what they want to leak.
Yes. I'm also super excited for the Blade movies that are going to be, or the Blade movie that's going to be coming out.
Yeah. I still remember watching the first Blade with Wesley Snipes. And like all those years ago, I think it came out in 97 or something. And I thought it was the goriest movie I've ever seen. But like looking back on it, it's just really bad CGI.
Yes.
I love Blade. I love the comics. I love the movies. I think Marsala Ali is like the perfect
Yes,
cast
he is
for
fantastic.
Blade. Yeah, I was like, man, I just saw that was announced. I was like, dang, that's a good one. That's
Yep,
good.
that's
Then yeah, then
um,
hear his voice at the end of Eternals. I was just
yeah.
like, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this for anyone who's like has seen his movie. I'm just so pumped to see this. So, but yeah, I'm so stoked for Blade. Cannot see. I don't know when that's all coming out, but when it does, I'm going to be geeking over it.
They've had 7 months to see the Eternals at this point. It's spoilers are
That's true.
allowed.
That is true.
Getting Ron Reynolds.
Okay, that's fair. There's a time limit.
Getting Ron Reynolds. Brandon, where have you been?
Come on, man.
Not watching Age of Ultron, that's for sure.
Yeah, right. It's like he's still back on Ultron. He's not caught up with the Eternals and everything, man. Come on.
Getting Ron Reynolds to come over and do Deadpool, I think, is a win for the MCU. I don't think you couldn't cast anybody else as him anymore.
No, you really couldn't. It's almost like recasting Wolverine.
Which
is you can do it. I don't think you can do it at this point. Like I know Hugh Jackman's a little older and everything, but I don't see it. Just like Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool, I cannot see anyone else doing Deadpool right now.
They now have X-Men, which is like kind of where I was going to go next. What they decide to do with that is going to be big for the MCU as well. How they bring them in, what kind of storyline are they going to start them with, and how they decide to, because now you're adding not just a couple superheroes, you're adding an entire group of mutants, and that's a big group of new people.
Yeah, it's a whole new universe that they're adding in. You know, they've been like subtly, not so subtly teasing it the last like year. You know, with WandaVision, they had Quicksilver coming in, and a few spoilers for Doctor Strange, and you're just like, I don't think it's going to be one big reveal. I think it's going to be slowly incorporated, but that's why I'm so excited to see Doctor Strange, because like you said, this is going to advance the MCU. Like it's going to accelerate it, because it's like this new phase has kind of been putting together slowly, and I think Multiverse of Madness is going to launch it forward. For reasons like the X-Men and Fantastic Four. I have no confirmation on that. I'm just purely spitballing. That's just kind of what I think, and I'm probably going to build this up in my head. And if it doesn't happen, I'm going to get disappointed. But regardless, I think it's gonna go that way.
And speaking of
Brandon.
Speaking of WandaVision, are you caught up on the TV shows?
The only one I have not watched the latest episode of Moon Knight, but everything else, yes.
What have you thought about all of them? They've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're on their 6th one now.
5? Yeah, I love them. I was worried, not worried. I was curious to see how it was going to work, as a TV series. I watched WandaVision, and I was hooked. The first few episodes, this is fantastic. I love this slow burn that they got going. It gives these characters a chance to go deeper, and you kind of get more of a backstory and everything like that. I love that. And so I'm really stoked to see where this goes and everything. I know they have a slew of Disney Plus shows coming out in the next few years, which I'm stoked for. I've been loving every single series that I don't hate any of the series at all. I love them all. They've been just so much fun to watch. I didn't even think I'd like What If, but man, I had so much fun watching What If even. It was great.
I read the What If comic books. It's been, I don't know, they came out years ago. So I knew if they did it right, it could be a super, super intriguing show. And the thing I like about the shows are you have all these characters in the MCU now, and it's hard to just bounce them from story to story in movies because there's so much time left out in between them.
Exactly.
Now they've got these shows where you can see what these people are doing in between all the big movies, and it really adds something to it.
Exactly. And I think that's why I liked Hawkeye so much, because it showed him in between all these big events that you always see him at, but now he's in New York with his family, celebrating Christmas and stuff. He's just I've always been curious, it's kind of a nerd in me, but what do these superheroes do every day when they're not saving the world, and just go down the street and get some food? And Hawkeye just kind of touched on that. And that's why I got so with it. It's like this is cool. Like he's at the restaurant. They're like, oh, you don't pay here. You save the world. He's like,
Yeah.
I'll pay. Like it's fine. But I like that. Like these TV shows give these these writers and stuff a chance to just kind of like expand these characters and their backstories and their futures, and that's why I like it so much. And 6, 8 episodes, whatever these TV shows are, they're fun. It's a slow burn. I like that they're taking their time with it. So I love them. Absolutely love them so much.
And it lets them.
And of course, Loki, that was the big one. So
yes,
that was huge.
It lets them bring in new characters without having to try to pigeonhole them in a movie. We're getting Moon Knight. We're getting Miss Marvel, She-Hulk. Ironheart's not new. That was Iron Fist that had the show.
Iron Fist, yeah.
Yeah. So you get Ironheart. We're getting, these new characters where now you get time to care about them before they're just thrown into movies where you're like, they're new. They're just kind of here.
Yeah.
And I think it adds a lot.
Oh, definitely. Kind of like, Vision. He just they just created it, just grabbed a Mind Stone and just threw it on an android and like, boom, it's Vision. And then he's dead within like 2 movies. So it's like, instead of just rushing that character and stuff, you get a chance to kind of explore them and develop this relationship with them. And I sound like a freaking nerd. I don't care. I love movies. I love cinema. I love this. So I like to get invested in this. And so it lets you get invested. And so I love that. I mean, that's why we were all so crushed when Tony Stark died at the end of Endgames, because we had him for 10 movies. Like we've had time to develop like this relationship with his character. So now we have a chance to do the same thing with even people we've seen like later, like Wanda, and now we got Moon Knight and Loki. So now we have a chance to actually like develop this chemistry with these characters. So that's why I love these TV shows. They're genius. I was a little skeptical at first, but now I'm all in. So I love it.
And it lets you do things like they're going to have the Secret Invasion TV show coming up, which
I'm excited for.
Yes, things like that. If you just make it a single movie, things can get lost. It's hard to fit something that's that all-encompassing of a storyline into a 2-hour movie. So allowing them to start it off in a TV show gives you more time to, paint a better picture before it were to turn into a big movie.
Yeah, and you touched on this earlier. Like, I wish they would have done this with Ultron because he's a huge, one of the biggest like villains in Marvel, and he was just kind of thrown off like in a few days in Avengers: The Age of Ultron. If they would have given him like a TV show, like you could have made a really menacing villain. They had him in What If, those last 2 episodes, and he was terrifying. So it's just like this TV show allows them to not rush these things anymore, which I love. And, Kane is supposedly the new big bad in the MCU. I'm all for that. I love Kane the Conqueror. So you slowly got introduced to him and like how psychotic this guy can be. So like I'm so pumped for this. And I love this slow burn.
They did figure out how to do it better after Ultron. They did much better. In Endgame and Infinity War, kind of slow burning the villain and giving him time to do what he was trying to do. So they did become better at it, but you're right. Ultron, if they had been able to give Ultron a TV show, it could have been fantastic.
Oh yeah. Would have been.
So
he's a big regret in the MCU. Like I love that movie and I think he's a great villain, but I just wish he would have been given more time, just to develop. But it is what it is, whatever. But I love the direction the MCU is going right now.
Yes, and they are figuring. I mean, not that they were ever bad at everything, but they are figuring things out to their credit, which DC has yet to figure out. They keep trying to be the MCU and can't.
They cannot do it, and which sucks is I loved DC Comics as a kid.
Yeah, other comics are fantastic.
So and so I was so excited for the the expanded universe, and it's just so disappointing. I love the Snyder cut of Justice League, by the way. I love that it tied a lot of things together that I didn't understand, but the rest of the universe it's crap, and it's so disappointing to see because I love the comics, I love these characters, and it's so sad to see them just fumble it as badly as they
Mhm.
have, like compared to the MCU. But I love the new Batman movie. That was fantastic. I love
Yeah.
it. So Yeah.
They hopefully they figure it out. They've got to figure out what to do with the Flash since Ezra Miller is currently terrorizing the state of Hawaii.
just perpetually fighting people over there.
Yes. I don't know what's going on there.
Someone ran some math and it cracked me up that they're like, statistically speaking, you are more likely to get punched by Ezra Miller than you are being attacked by a shark in Hawaii. And like they had the numbers to back it up, and you're like, holy crap, like that's crazy, but
that's fantastic.
So funny. Oh my god.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, also, by the way, love your new show that recap the WrestleManias. I know we're kind of jumping way off topic. I'm a huge wrestling nerd. On top of that, I love this show, and I just want to be like, when you do WrestleMania 7, please bring me on because that's my favorite WrestleMania of all time. I love WrestleMania 7, so I just wanted to throw that out there before we did anything
absolutely. We're going to work our way through WWE and WCW, which was not WCW in the 80s, but there's not going to be a whole lot before WrestleMania 7 because they only did one a year until WrestleMania 4, I think.
Yeah, something like that. So,
but no, yeah, we'll absolutely have you on.
Awesome.
And with it being 9:15 and you have another show to get to, I'm going to let you out of here with one last question. Saddest moment in the MCU.
Oh man, I hate to sound basic, but like I bawled when Tony Stark died. I know it's like probably everyone's answer, but like it's true. Like that hit me the absolute hardest. I bawled my eyes out, and like I like Tony Stark, but he's not my favorite character. But man, that just it was just symbolic to me. Like this phase of MCU that I love so much is like it's closing, like it's over now. Like and so like. All that was just hitting me all at once. I was like, damn, like this is so sad to me. But like that was sad. That's definitely my my heart-wrenching moment.
It's an acceptable answer. It's the wrong answer, but it's the acceptable answer. The correct answer is
okay, what's the right answer?
The right answer is Peter Parker fading away as he's reaching out for Tony Stark. That is the correct answer.
That's top 5. Sure, but like he had a chance to come back. Like Tony Stark ain't coming back.
That you know of. We're going to other. He could show up in Doctor Strange for all we know.
That's true.
Also, Peter's a child.
Yeah, he was an Avenger at that point. Like he could take care of himself. Like honestly, like whatever. Like yeah, Tony Stark dying made me bawl. I was like crying.
I get it. No,
tears.
It was more of a symbolically sad thing for me because I wasn't a big Iron Man fan. In the comics, Iron Man gets Captain America shot. And it kind of turned me off from him for a while. But no, I get it. That was the end of that phase of the MCU, and you knew it at that point. Him and Cap growing old wasn't so much sad as it was he deserves this. This is what he deserves.
Yeah, it was nice to see him with that send-off. A little disappointing, but like it was still nice to see that send-off. Like, he got his dance at the end. Good for him. Like, good for him. I'm a big Captain America fan, like I said, so I was happy to see him happy. So
I'm hoping I get more glimpses of Fat Thor at some point in the future. I'm a big fan of Fat Thor.
I love Fat Thor, but his training montage in the Thor trailer is like, okay, he's going back. Yes. He's going back to Jack Thor, but the Fat Thor is hilarious.
All right, guys, that will do it for us for tonight. I'm going to be back on here in about 15 minutes with my brother doing a mock draft tonight. I'm not sure if we're going to alternate picks or both make a pick for each one. We'll figure that out. We don't plan very well. We just kind of wing it. But join us for that. If you are a Ravens fan or just want to watch, is that the show you're on tonight, your Ravens show?
Yeah, Around the Flock over at ATB Network. So we've done a 4-part mock draft for those last 4 weeks. So tonight's the last 25 through 32. So I think I'm picking for your Bengals. So I think I know who I'm going to get. So Kaiir Elam is your boy. So I'm going to take him for you.
it could be worse, I suppose. But if you guys want to go check out that, absolutely go check out Thomas and Brandon. They're on every Wednesday at 9:30.
Yep, that is correct.
Along with all the other guys over at ATB. They all do good work. Check them out. Me and my brother will be doing several more shows. Next Tuesday, we should be back with another edition of the Wrestling Review, doing Starrcade 85, the first WCW Jim Crockett one we're going to do. Quite a bit different from WrestleMania. A lot of blood. It was a much bloodier show. So check that out. We're going to be doing some video game streaming. I think some Minecraft, different things like that. Meek Bros Entertainment on Twitch and YouTube. Subscribe. Check us out. Go follow Thomas on Twitter at TDHunter52. Give Around the Flock a follow over at ATB. And I appreciate you joining me, man.
Hey, man, thanks for having me on. This is fun. I love BSing about Marvel with you.
Absolutely.
So I'm down to do this all the time.
We'll pick it back up a couple weeks after you have time to digest Doctor Strange and see what we have to think.
Yeah, I'm going to need a little time to recover after it, I hope. So,
guys, we appreciate you showing up. Thomas, thank you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, bud.